friends, and welcome to another video here with me. Not in Bali, but in Melbourne. It's actually 13 weeks out on the dot today. I wanted to take you through a day in the life of what prep looks like while I'm here. This is my hometown, this is where I grew up. I'm currently living with my beautiful grandmama. When I moved away from Australia and packed up my whole life, I got rid of my car, I got rid of my apartment, I got rid of everything. So it's made it super easy that Mama lives really close to a gym. So we'll be heading off to the gym today. I have an upper body session in store. But for just this morning, I'm going to take advantage of the fact that the rain has stopped a little bit. It's quite overcast here, but it has been beautiful over the past couple of days. So we've gotten some good weather since I've been back. I always prefer to walk outside, even if there is a possibility that I'll get wet. I chuck on a cute little rain walk playlist and just like dance in the rain, because who cares? But I definitely prefer walking outside than on a treadmill. So I thought I'm gonna get some fresh air. Then I will be heading home to eat some breakfast, do some work, and then we'll head off to the gym. 13 weeks out, first time around when I did my last prep, I'd had such a decent off season that my starting calories were at like 3,000. So compared to where we started at this time, where I was just maintaining, because obviously we wanted to be in striking distance of being able to jump into a pro show. It'll just be a case of getting up there and seeing what happens and seeing how I size up to other pros around the world, staying present for now and ticking the boxes, but definitely a different experience this time around. 13 weeks out. Last time I was up higher body fat percentage, also up higher calories, but I think I was pushing more cardio at this time. I don't really remember. I should go into my Instagram highlights because I know that last prep I documented. So if you want to see that, jump onto the Instagram over here. You'll see it in the highlights tab. So this time around, we've just had a slight calorie drop since I've been back here in Melbourne. Only 100 calories, so it's very minuscule. So I'm now on 1,500 calories on a training day and 1,400 on a rest day. When I compare, which I'm trying really hard not to do because I want to live presently, and I want to take this experience as a very separate one to my last experience, because I honestly think that I've said in previous videos, when you go in with the mentality that it's a novelty and it's a new thing, then that's when you get the most out of it. But when I have compared, I've been like, by 13 weeks out last time, I was on a lot more food and a lot more energy, but by 13 weeks out last time, I also wasn't at the weight that I am now. I'm currently 58.4 this morning, and my stage weight is 53.5. So I don't have really that long to go in 13 weeks, and I think we'll very much be ready early, which is a good thing. So yeah, I am going to pop on a podcast and enjoy the rest of this walk. Hopefully it doesn't rain, but if it does, who cares? I will see you for breakfast. What's that? No, not too bad. I had my hood on though. Not too shabby. Alright, we've returned from the walk. I got about 6.5 thousand steps and I'm about to make my breakfast. On a training day, like I already said, it is a little bit lower than what we used to have. So we got 3 Weet-Bix, 15 grams of almonds, but I sometimes switch out with peanut butter, 75 grams of mixed berries instead of 100, and 25 WPI. So all up, that is 31 protein, 40 carbs, and 9 fat, 363 calories. Also have a long black, then do a little bit of work and we'll head off to the gym. Alright fam, I've just done some work. Honestly, I feel stuck with social media at the moment. That is okay. I'm just gonna keep on creating things that I hope inspires people and things that I like creating. I'm putting together a little end of year 2026 kind of like reflection post. I'm hoping that this will also help people kind of like forward think about who they want to be and what they want to do in the new year and figure out how to do those things. I do feel like there's been less pressure now around New Year, New Me, the New Year's resolution stuff, because people are becoming more aware that just because you write something down doesn't mean that you're going to fulfill that. Yeah, I'm creating something that I hope will help people who are like, I want to be this person and I want to become this and I want to achieve this, but they don't know where to start or they don't know what it's going to take. And I'm just like dishing out the harsh truth about what it takes. It's like, it's boring. Like if you want to be more wealthy, more fit, more healthy, more this, more that, it's like everything that people talk about where it's, you can't rely on motivation, but you can make it enjoyable, because I think that that's what life is about. We put so much kind of emphasis on don't rely on motivation, it has to be discipline, 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 and it's like, well, do you want it to be discipline or do you want it to be devotion? As much as people will say like, oh, it's just a change in words. Language is so important. The words you speak become your reality, because there's a self-fulfilling prophecy and like a confirmation bias that if you say, I'm doing this because of discipline, notice that discipline and devotion have a very different feeling behind it. So I'm kind of in this post going to encourage people to operate with devotion. Carries something where it's like it's also enjoyable, whereas discipline is giving like military vibes. Maybe that's just me. That's just my association, like that with the connotations of the word behind discipline versus devotion. It is 10:44. I'm going to get my pre-workout meal sorted and then we're going to head off to the gym to do an upper body session. I've got 125 sweet potato, 125 grams of fish, raw weight, and 75 grams of McCain mixed vegetables. And all up that is 28 protein, 34 carbs, and 2 fats, 269 calories. With my fish, got the oven on, I'm gonna wrap it up in foil. We're gonna go dill, smoked paprika, and salt. And we also have some lemon that I can squeeze on. I'm a chef. And then with the sweet potato mash, I sometimes like to put smoked paprika and salt on that too. I get frozen fish from Woolies because it's way cheaper. Your girl does not have an income at the moment. So until YouTube and social media takes off, we're cutting corners where we can. Yep, good. But fun fact actually, I was diagnosed with OCD when I was younger, which is obsessive compulsive disorder. And I was put on a bunch of medications as a child. Anti-anxiety meds, antidepressants, you name it, for a good almost 9 years. And then during COVID lockdown, I was like, why am I taking all this stuff? I don't want to anymore. The idea that I'm like bound to this kind of stigma of, oh, I have depression, I have OCD, I have anxiety and blah, blah, blah. I have everything under the sun at that point. I just stopped taking all my meds and I'm not depressed, but I am a clean freak. And I'm one of those people who clean as they go. And a bit of lemon. And that'll stay in for about 15 to 18 minutes. I feel like Jamie Oliver. We are a cooking show now, yes. Ready to go. My veggies I'll weigh out and then just chuck in the microwave. All right, we are heading off to the gym. I don't know how busy it's going to be in there, so I may or may not film. One thing I've noticed about Australia compared to Bali is that tall poppy syndrome is a real thing here. I'm still working on overcoming that fear of like judgment. I'm also feeling so sleepy, but I'm going to G myself up. It is a mental thing and you definitely can push past it if you're willing to. And today I have the will. So where there is a will, there is a way. Let's go get it. I did not film my workout, clearly. I am now in the posing room and I'm gonna do some posing now so I can show you guys that. was a decent session. Next time I want to film, I'll either get Caleb because we know he's very good, but he was occupied today. His brand did a photo shoot today and everyone looked absolutely incredible. So we'll give him a pass. I'm about to have 45 grams of oats. In a past video, I had someone actually comment on the fact that like I don't go 1 gram above or 2 grams below. I always go on the dot. I was asked if I have an ED, eating disorder. I actually really welcomed that question because I think it's a really important thing to talk about within bodybuilding. It is an extreme sport. Like, does 2 or 3 extra grams matter? Probably not in the grand scheme of things, but for me, I don't live like this every day. In my off season, I loosely track, and if I'm a couple of grams over, I'm like, oh well. But when I am working towards a show, I want to get to the end and know that I've done absolutely everything I can and just done everything perfectly, because like, personally for me, that is a part of my journey. Getting to the end and being like, I'm so happy and I'm so proud of myself, regardless of outcomes, to know that I've done absolutely everything I can. There's definitely challenges that come with that, because in the post-show period, after so much structure and having things to a T, you really do have to adjust. So I really liked that someone was bold enough to ask, do you have an eating disorder? And the answer is no. In saying that, I know that a lot of people within bodybuilding have markers of disordered eating, of course, throughout the prep, because this level of precision and like perfection around food is not a normal thing, but it is required to get to stage. But after there was a study that Scott was telling me about, all people who completed a prep and got to a certain level of body composition where you're super, super lean, all indicated markers of disordered eating. Does that mean that they have an eating disorder? No. It doesn't necessarily mean that they act on the kind of tendencies that they have around food, but it does mean that post-show, there are a lot of challenges around food and control around it, and people fall into binge eating cycles. If you don't have the proper support, or you don't have a coach or, you know, someone helping you through that. I was very lucky post-show that I kind of just was like, all right, now I've got more flexibility, but I eased my way into it. Wasn't like crazy about tracking. I'd have 1 or 2 off-plan meals a week. Was very mindful as well. I just like tuned a lot into my body, because you do lose your hunger cues and you do lose your satiety cues, and you just become like ravenously hungry. Yeah, really, really interesting stuff, which I don't have to worry about for at least another 13 weeks. Which brings me to, what will my intentions be? Am I still wanting to do Pittsburgh? Yes. I still want to do Pittsburgh. I feel like Pittsburgh would be an incredible show to do. New York would also be so cool. Miami would also be so cool. That stuff isn't until May. I guess we'll really just see what happens as the prep continues. We don't really know what's gonna happen, but I would love to do a few shows regardless of what happens. If I'm prepped already, might as well, right? As I was saying, we've got 45 grams of oats, we've got 100 grams of raw chicken, 115 grams of banana, and 20 grams of peanut butter. Guys, yesterday I made this with rosemary, paprika, and chicken salt. So good. Let's eat. I finished my cup of tea and my plan is to do a little bit more work. Relax for a little bit, I think. I also have these reminders come up on my phone. That feels good. I don't know if it's just the music that's making me emotional, so let's turn that off. But I thought I would share this post that I just made, and it is lessons I've learned through prep, grief, and life in 2025. The first slide I wrote was that you choose your experiences, and if you want to complain and suffer and struggle, you will find plenty of reasons to. I feel like I learned this through prep. You might feel fatigued, you might feel tired, you might feel hungry, you might feel irritable, and if you want to complain, there are all of the reasons laid out for you to do that. But if you want to learn, evolve, and enjoy the process regardless of what challenges pop up, you will also find plenty of reasons to do that. You have the power. I also wrote, you are not your thoughts, learn to observe them, which is something that is a continual thing for me, and I think will forever be a continual thing. And I wrote that reactivity is born through attachment to your emotions, which are temporary and fleeting. Master your reactions through building awareness, be an observer to your thoughts and see how things change. The next one I wrote was your beliefs about yourself impacts everything in your life, especially relationships. If you're attached to victimhood, being a people pleaser, being an anxious person, or any other story about your identity, your default will be to live in alignment with those beliefs. I also wrote affirmations aren't BS. You just need to live in alignment to them. And I'm such a firm believer in that because for a long time, I had latched onto this belief that I was like a broken person, that through my upbringing and through experiences that happened that I didn't realize I was holding on to because I felt like it was giving me like a sense of purpose or a sense of identity, but it was identity that kept me stuck in the same loops because I would continue playing out certain patterns that happened because I didn't realize that that's what I believed about myself. I believed that that's what I was worth or that's what I deserve. And until you start to change the inner dialogue that you have and your beliefs about yourself, nothing changes. The other side's not always that deep. Shock horror to people probably because I'm a deep girl. I love going deep. I wrote that challenges, failure, and struggles are inevitable in life. Sometimes things are tough. You can let them be without creating a story around it. Acceptance of tough times without attaching to them is the first step to growing through them. And what I mean by that is like, if there's a mistake, you don't have to create a story around it and be like, oh, this, relationship didn't work out because I'm not good enough, because I didn't do this, I didn't do that. Things can just be shitty. Things can occur without it being all about you. Acknowledge your part in things, but to create a story around it, it kind of ties into the belief stuff. And then my next slide was taking accountability is the most powerful thing you can do for yourself, which I know sounds like a contradiction, but let me explain. This doesn't mean creating shame or guilt. It means empowering yourself to make choices around what is in your control. So blaming, complaining, and resisting will get you nowhere. What requires your accountability and how can you move forwards? Like the relationship example, maybe someone broke up with you and they felt neglected in the relationship. You can take accountability for your part and be like, okay, I could have been more attentive. I could have been more present. Maybe I could have had the conversation with them to ask, hey, what did you need? But it's not about shame or guilt. It's about like being proactive in your life and taking your power back and becoming empowered moving forwards and being like, oh damn, like this is what I can take accountability for. This is what I can work on. Thanking the tough times to be like, okay, now here is my chance to learn and grow through that. Smile at strangers. Being a decent person is free and creates an impact that reaches further than you can alone. There is no quick fix, not for success, not for health, not for healing, building a good stable relationship, long-lasting deep friendships, or growing a fat bunda. Progress takes consistency and it is boring. Get really good at doing the boring things day in and day out, and that is where success is built. My second last slide, I said I attended my sister's funeral 3 days before I won my pro card. You know what I learned? It's that when you're gone, your loved ones won't speak about your achievements. No one will talk about the amount of money or the possessions that you owned. They won't talk about your status or how many followers you had. The thing you'll be remembered for is how you made others feel and who you were, who you are as a person. And I think that's something really important to remember. Something that I am going to keep reminding myself in the pursuit of big dreams and goals. When we all turn to dust and it's all finished. Of course, I want to create impact through my journey in bodybuilding, but at the end of the day, I'm going to be remembered for who I am and how I made people feel. My last slide says, I hope that your life is full of people and experiences that crack your heart wide open. I hope that you feel deeply and that in all you aim for, you don't lose sight of what really matters. And I really hope that for you listening, watching me and joining me on my journey to the pro stage and hopefully Olympia. Thank you for being here and supporting me. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. The rest of my night is going to look like maybe having a bath or something relaxing to wind down. Something nice. I feel like I need to be a little bit gentle with myself heading into Sunday and heading into the last day of November before it hits crazy month of the last month of 2025, December. Thanks for joining me. I will see you guys in the next video, and if you can do something to make someone else smile today, and you can do something to nourish yourself today, then you are doing your little piece of impact in making the world a better place. Thank you for being here. I love you.